Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Richmond Oval. Steve Erickson, joined by Ian Chan. Our pleasure to bring you today's game as we see Australia in the yellow colored jerseys taking on Sweden. Very, very entertaining match. And Ian, what should we expect from this game today?
Well, you can see that both the teams' high pointers, they got a lot of function and a lot of speed. So obviously the duo of Riley and Bond, we all know how dynamic that duo is. But also Sweden has Toby, number 6, who's also very fast and very functional. And Thomas, number 22, he's very, very experienced and very fast as well.
Well, you watch that one as they go back down really, really quick. Australia scored 11 seconds in.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll see Bat and Bond ripping down the court a bunch of times, sending long bombs to each other.
They're going to try it again. Wait, see what they can do and set this on back up again. Watch this one, Tobias Sandberg. We watched him play earlier on in the first game I called today, and boy, he's a talented young player.
Yeah, he always seems to be operating really smooth. It doesn't really get rattled too much, and obviously really experienced.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too rattled at all. He just knows what he wants to do, and he's basically like the quarterback for the team.
Oh yeah, I would say he's their best player and probably their leader. But again, this Sweden group is very experienced too. Their core group of players have been around for a while.
Well, they have, and it shows really, really fast. It shows too. So that was Chris Bond that got another one on the board right there. They're up by 2 right now, 2-1. I like all the defensive strategies that the teams have been utilizing throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, you know, I think Australia, they generally try to double one person off the ball, and they allow Bond and Riley to run 2-on-3. And a lot of times they actually get a lot of turnovers out of that. But if teams are running on their offense correctly and they know they have proper spacing, then a lot of times they can mitigate those turnovers.
As we watch, and we'll get set up, Riley Bat has it. It was really funny talking. Now they're going to go down and just slowly stroll in. Talking to a couple of my friends earlier on, actually last night, and I was telling them I was coming out to doing this, and they said, do they play physical? I said, you've got to come and watch it. I said, you would not believe how physical they can play.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are taken aback by athletes with a disability taking full court runs at each other.
Well, we've seen a couple of real solid checks earlier on today. I mean, the game that just finished, Japan as well as the U.S. Boy, no love lost between the two teams the way they were playing, so aggressive. Nice little bit of an inbound right there. Oh, turn, good spin right there to get away from everybody. Not going to give that one. Sandberg threw it back down. Now we have a long stretch pass. Yet goes it back, waits. One more time. Sweden, and of course you can hear the coaching staff talking to the boys, telling them what he thinks they should do and how they should work it.
Oh, we'll definitely be hearing Benoit's voice during this game. Very reminiscent of Coach Kevin Orr from Team Japan, where he very loud, very emotional, wears his heart on his sleeve. But also, Benoit's also another very experienced coach.
Well, that's exactly true. He knows what he wants to do, and that's one thing I can say about the coaching staff earlier on when I was talking to him. All the coaches, so friendly, just want to promote the sport and tell everybody what it's all about and grow it. Another heavy contact hit far down. Over in the far left side of the court this time. Now they just throw it around. They get across. Sure they do. Made that one look simple. Now we have a tied at 4, Australia and Sweden. Solid international play out here. You watch Waits just picking this one back up. I like the holder that the players have for the ball. In the top of their chair. You don't see all the players have that.
Yeah, generally speaking, a lot of the quad amps have some sort of ball holder on their front of their chair because they don't have much of a lap to carry the ball. And there are rules and regulations around types of ball holders, maybe the size of the tubing, as to prevent any technical advantage.
Is that all governed by the governing body?
Oh, there is rules and regulations. I'm not sure who dictates the rule changes and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's done by a combination of whether it's referees or a consultation with some players, maybe some coaches, but I know it's a team effort or committee.
Yeah, solid team effort. And of course, I know that they play, the wheelchair rugby here at the Richmond Oval pretty much every day of the week out here.
Oh yeah, Richmond Oval is a great facility.
Wheeling their way in again. Sweden gets another one on the board. Well, that trails them within 1 right now, 6-5. So how did you get involved in the sport?
Well, I was introduced to sport through a rec therapist by the name of Duncan Campbell. He was I was only 15 at the time when I was injured, and he introduced me to the sport of wheelchair rugby when I was in rehab.
What was the extent of the injury, if you don't mind me asking?
I was in a motorbike accident a long time ago, back in '92.
Somebody pull out in front of you, one of these dumb car drivers?
Actually, I was just on the back of a bike. I was pretty young at the time, kind of joyriding. And
helmet or no helmet?
Oh, I definitely had a helmet. In fact, I actually cracked my helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Nice crack block by Thomas here, number 22.
Was it ever? And boy, we talked about how aggressive they get on the blocks. They go back down, another solid check right there. And you can see that when they hit, they actually jar the player right out of the chair. I like how they run it up at the back end where they all, like, it's almost like a fine game of chess, how they're all teeing each other up and knowing who's going to play where and run the block and the picks. Yeah,
see, I think Team Sweden, they really try to exploit matchups. You'll see Thomas, number 22, always hunting down a number 4. That way, he's trying to draw a favorable double, and then that way, Toby and the low point can work up court. But you'll see Thomas, no matter where the low point goes, Thomas will be hunting them down.
Well, they work at it, so we've got equipment. You got an equipment issue on the floor right now. We do. Over just to our right up here.
Okay, I thought it was Toby.
Talk about the real quick. So Sweden called the timeout really, really quick. Coaching staff call them in while they have the equipment repaired. Replace the wheels. You've got to give a lot of credit to the individuals that come out and do all the equipment repairs because they're fast. Oh, Good pit crew.
They're the unsung heroes. I mean, they're the ones in the trenches taking care of the guys. It's a bit of a thankless job, but not amongst the teams. We always show, we're always gracious to our equipment people. We know how much hard work they put into their jobs.
Well, they do. It's you know, sort of like the unsung heroes. They do a lot of work, as you say, and they really make it worthwhile. So what do we know about the Australia team?
Well, Australia's had a couple of tough games so far this weekend, but you know, they're the defending Paralympic gold medalists. Most people know Australia for their dynamic duo of Bat and Bond, but they also have a great supporting cast.
They're really teaming each other up, pretty much double teaming each other in some cases right there, trying to get themselves free. Waiting, called the time. Just good call for the timeout, trying to set things up. Lobbing it all the way back inside, waits. Oh, heavy collision all the way over on the far side that time. Bat was the one that was on the receiving end of that one. Now they go back, waits. Going to get it. 8-6 right now.
They got the triple on Riley, hoping to force and give and go. They're trying to get something out of this. At the very least, they're trying to deny Riley that first touch.
So they go all the way back down, waiting for it. Nice little bit of a leisurely stroll inside, giving the ball back to the referee. They go back. A lot of friendship and camaraderie showing out on the court by all the players, as aggressive as they want to play and physical as they want to get. It's a good individual sport where they really get along with each other.
You know, the wheelchair rugby community is a small, tight-knit community. Everybody kind of knows everybody at the elite level. So, you know, even though the guys are competing hard and there's big hits and there might be a little chippiness on the court, after the game's done, I'm sure guys will be pretty easy going and having a beer and be able to talk some shop.
Going back, talking some shop, having a little bit of what you might call a wobbly pop here and there the odd time. That's an old Winnipeg term, too.
Wobbly pop, I like it.
Nice reach to grab that one up there by Sandberg. Sandberg looks, trying to get around the
This is what Australia wants
player.
to do. They try to run 1-on-2 with Riley, give him every opportunity they can to try to create something 1-on-2. That's why they try to double off the ball.
Well, if it works and it's been a successful part of your program, sometimes you stick with it. But if it doesn't work, that's time to maybe make changes.
Yeah, exactly. Over the course of the game, they might not get turnover every single time they're trying to break the press, but over the course of the game, Riley's going to eventually get something.
Yeah, eventually. It'll just has to work in their favor. Straight down again. He's the one they really key on all the time, isn't he? I would assume that Riley just goes down all the time, and they're really focused on him.
Yeah, all teams. He's such a presence on the floor that all teams tend to worry about him in one way or another.
And Riley stole that one.
That opens up the court for all his for his teammates.
Never mind injuries. I watched the way they hit and collide with each other. I'd worry about having a heart attack out there. The way they just thump each other.
These guys train really hard. They put their bodies to the test, and they push it to the limits. So they know how hard to push themselves.
Yeah, they know what they can and can't do. They know it. Another play across the line again. Well, that gives them 8 for Sweden, 11 for Australia. Key so far for what I can see is that Australia just started out with a real strong start and hasn't backed off.
Looks like Sweden's going to drop back in the key, try to neutralize some of Australia's team speed.
As long as they don't get 4 in it, they're okay. We've seen that called throughout the course of the day where they've ended up getting penalties. They might question it, but they're still called penalties regardless by the referee. Wheel their way inside. Good play. Get that one on the board. 12-8 right now. 49 remaining in the first period. Waits are going to throw it all the way back down. They're going to get control. They do. They get it and just saunter the way inside. Nice play to roll across the line to get that one. So as they wait, so they'll get it and do it all over. So currently in the world rankings, we've got Australia listed as number 1 and Sweden listed as number 6 in the world rankings. Another block. They're going to wait. They're going to get it. Nope, he's wide open all the way really down the far end of the floor. And they just throw it to him. Is he going to get control of this one? He will. He grabs this one with his arms and wheels across the line and touch it back down.
That's always menacing whenever someone throws a deep ball and you have Riley Bett coming full speed at you, barreling down.
That's where you just sort of stop and put the brakes on the wheels and say, just a minute, yeah, you can have it, thank you. Oh, whoa, what's that?
Ole, and then there'd be a flyby, right?
Yeah, would there ever be? You worry about that because they come at a pretty good rate of speed going back down after them, too. Oh, nice cut, nice deke to go to the inside. Inside out, right going left. That was good. This is a fast-tempoed start game right now. We're watching both teams. They're not really setting up and taking their time with each other as to what they're going to do with the ball.
Oh,
long,
Riley with a piece of that ball.
Yeah, long lean behind him. I didn't think that he was going to get it. Sandberg had to really reach back. I thought he was going to possibly tip himself over on that one.
Nicholson, number 21, is just a beast defensively, too, having a hard time getting over half.
Different style chair, too, from some of the other chairs that we see on the floor. Again, across the line. They get that one back in. Yeah, if anybody's never seen this sport, they should come on down to the Richmond Oval and take this in for the weekend because this is exceptional wheelchair rugby. And, boy, it's entertaining to beat. Again, picking this one back up now. They're back down, picking up some more speed as they come back down. Here. And Riley Bett goes inside, waits a bit of a collision course, giving it back to the referee. They just sort of shrug it off after they bump with each other.
Looks like Australia's going to try some key defense of their own.
Yeah, they're trying to set this one back up. They've got all 4 back there right now. Not going to give anything up. At least that's what they're looking at. They're trying to force everybody. Going to set it up, go the long cross pass to the inside, and he gets across the line. Yet goes inside, gets one more on the board. 15-12 right now. Just take their time, lob it all the way out. Oh, careful play on the right-hand side. Thought he was going to tip over right there, but Riley goes back down, throws this one back inside to Edmondson. Edmondson gets across the line, just barely inside, but he gets across the line nonetheless.
Nice push by number 14. Looked like Toby had an angle on him, but he made his way to the goal.
So we'll go back again. Sweden will have the bond. Hildebrandt looks, what's he going to do? Just lobs it straight forward this time. Hildebrandt passed it back. Nice play by Hildebrandt to get it back forward this time. Managed to get her back out to Sandberg. Now Sandberg down the right side, stops, waits, holds on to it. Oh, a bit of a collision course, and he gets it back all the way up by himself. You talk about agility. I couldn't do that with a shopping cart. Holy Lord. That was impressive to watch. I'd still be down there saying help. That just goes to show you the upper body strength that they've got when they can push themselves back up right away.
I'm pretty sure Riley could have hopped up by himself if he ended up dumping himself out. But I think generally they have to stop. They should be a stoppage play when he does fall out. It didn't look like he was fully out there, though.
Well, he went down, just sort of turned around and got himself
Right
back up really quick. So didn't look like he was down and out by any stretch of the imagination, but he continued to go. And he is again going back. Riley Bat stays with his man. Who's going to get it? They'll give it back to Sandberg. Sandberg comes all the way down the right side. Heavy hit. We've got to be aware over on our side so we don't get run over with it. It was only a couple times in one of the games earlier, the last game.
Oh, timeout there.
With Japan that we thought we were going to get run over.
Oh, at the stable?
Yeah. They come pretty close. They come pretty close to us. I guess it was just a look in my face that scared him. Like, don't do that. I'm susceptible to pain. I get hurt real easy. I cry. Don't hit me.
Never mind the table. Look at all this expensive equipment we're surrounded by.
Oh, yes. This is what you call dollars and cents. Yes, I'm sure if something happened to the equipment, Choyle would be crying. He would really be crying. I just know it. Tears, not of joy either. Nice play across the line. They get it. Jansen was the one that received that one, giving it across. His first points of the game.
What looked like a nice triple on Riley. Riley still manages to squeeze out.
And he gets free again. Waits, looks, he just slows himself right down, puts the brakes on. Literally. There's a couple of good pick plays. Now they go back across. And they get some more. 18-14. Looks like Australia is starting to run away with this one. So which team needs the win for today? I guess that would be the fairest way to ask you.
Well, I think Team Sweden is a little bit outmatched versus Australia, but there could be small goals or small objectives they would like to get out of this game. Even though they might potentially lose this game, they could still execute some strategic plans or tactics that they might want to be able to practice.
So they'll come back down again, going to the outside, driving his way back down. Nice little bit of a solid check. Back around again, taken off of the ball that time by Nicholson. Nicholson's on the inside. Not sure what he's going to do with it, but he's there anyway. Nicholson stays with his man. Nicholson and Sandberg, side by side.
Great play by Nicholson. I haven't seen much of Nicholson, but he looks very tough defensively to get
Tough.
around.
Sure spins really quick, and he throws a lot of hard hits too. Ball goes up, out of play. Over to our broadcast location right here, just near us.
A lot of that pressure was generated by Nicholson because that allowed Riley to peel off and pressure the other players, while Nicholson took care of Toby.
So they wait for it. Nicholson's wide open. Now they're running three in the back. 25 seconds remaining. Nicholson's there. Also Riley Bat. Riley's got control, but he just takes his time.
Looking to score a last goal here.
I think that's what he's looking for, and it's probably a reason for his success on that play. 10 seconds. Will he get across? Oh, he's still driving. Does he get across? He does so. Manages somehow to get it all the way back inside. 6.2 seconds left. Good drive play right there to go back. 1 and 2 in the offense.
Put the ball down if you take your time.
That's what they did. They took their time. So
Toby looking to bomb it here.
Are they going to get one across the line? We'll see how quick he can get it back down. Cutting to the inside. Will he get it? Nice no, not going to count. A little bit too much too late, but boy, what a great speed. And the only reason that didn't count is because he got checked off of the ball right away, just about 5 feet before the line.
Yeah, just that little bit of a tap just took off another half second, which denied that goal.
So you got some notes on Team Australia. What have you got for us that you can share with us and all our listeners or viewers that might be watching this today?
It just talks about some of the accomplishments of some of our Aussie players, talks about some of their club teams and when they started, gold medals that they've won over the years.
What's it say about Riley Bat, number 3? Does it say it's got to have information, probably about 4 pages on him?
A whole page.
You're right.
I'm just kidding, but obviously Riley Bat's an accomplished athlete. It says he started back in 2003. 2003, I think he was 14 at the time.
So that'd be a 15, 16-year-old veteran.
I mean, to be on a national team at 14 is already an accomplishment in itself.
So it says he's previously played for the United States Quad Rugby Association for the San Diego Sharp.
Yeah, I find a lot of international players come to the USKRA to try to gain experience. And I would say the USKRA is kind of like the NHL of wheelchair rugby, where a lot of the good players from around the world, they don't get the same type of competition that they can get back home. So they want to come to the US where there's just a deeper pool of athletes and just more club teams, which means there's going to be more tournaments, and more tournaments means more experience.
I see that happen an awful lot with women's fast pitch when they play in Canada. They only go to a certain level. Then when they want to expand their career, they go down to some of the universities and colleges in the States to advance their career for that one.
Well, in order to get to the top elite level, you have to make some sacrifices, and some of those sacrifices could very well mean playing abroad and living a life of wheelchair rugby. Yeah,
one of the biggest frustrations I have, or have seen throughout my tenure with sports in Canada in general, just the lack of support from different government companies or organizations to get involved and help the amateurs that want to go to the Olympic level.
That is interesting, yes, and we are a little bit spoiled in Canada in that we are supported quite nicely here in Canada. But it wasn't always the case. We've had to work very hard, and we've had a lot of people behind the scenes work diligently behind the scenes to get us to this point.
Yeah, and that Own the Podium has really helped out as well.
Oh, tremendously, tremendously. We wouldn't be here without the support of all the people behind the scenes.
No, and you look at, we've had lots of sponsors, so again, a special thanks to all the sponsors that have helped out and come on board to make this event so successful. We'll make mention of some of the sponsors when we get a chance. Now they wait for this one. Sweden has control. It waits. Taking their time right now, just setting this one all the way back up. Yet holds onto it. Looks trying to pass it back inside. He does. He gets it across, but they'll give this one back around. They're going to set this one up as the referee is going to tell him it's going to go over on the far side this time. Keep an eye on the clock. It's like a shot clock on each end of the floor right now. It's listed. It starts at 40 seconds. Once they get the ball inbound, then the clock starts. So they'll come all the way back down. Splits the defense going straight down and wheels his way across the line. Patiently across the line. That's Chris Bond. And you had mentioned something about Chris Bond earlier on. At least I saw a sheet. I think I saw about 4 pages with Chris Bond on here as well. So they've got their success level is really telling them what they can do. Chris Bond, yes, he's only a young 31. To be 31 again. Wishful thinking for me. He's been with the national team since 2011. He comes from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, I was told. So it says in the notes. And he was coached by, what's it say? Previously played in the U.S. for the Texas Stampede, and the club base was based in Austin, Texas. Good country music territory down there.
Well, Chris Bond checking in for Riley here, trying to give him a bit of a break. You don't want to run Riley bad into the ground and then not have him any energy for some of the other games.
No, I saw him going to the bench. His tongue was already hanging out, so I know he was tired just because of that, just the way he was looking right there. So Sweden will take their time. Long trek for these teams to get here.
Oh, man down.
Another man down right there. They're going to pick him back up. They will wait. That's got to be.
Ball.
That's got to be one of the most frustrating feelings in the whole world when you can't do anything. So now they're going to wait. Pick him back up. Call him. He's going to go back inside. It's got to be a feeling. I guess the one word to describe that would be loneliness. When there's nothing you can do to get yourself back up.
Well, you're just looking up at the ceiling, just waiting for someone to pick you up.
That's all you can do. At least at the Richmond Oval, you get to see the birds flying around in here. And for those that are not familiar with the Richmond Olympic Oval, I should make mention that the roof was designed and built out of all the pine beetle trees that they took down. So if you've never been in here to see it, it's quite the building to look at. Lots to see and lots to do in here.
Apparently it's won some design award or something like that.
Oh, it has.
Engineering design award.
It has. Indeed, it has. Home for the 2010 Olympic Speed Skating Championships.
Big hit by number 15.
Huge hit right there, and that hit was throwing. Yeah, Andrew Harrison was the one that threw that one. So we've got an equipment problem again. All the way back. No, we've got 2 equipment issues right now. So if you've never been to the Richmond Oval, come on down because there's a place upstairs called the Richmond Olympic Experience. It's what's called the Rocks, and it's actually quite impressive. So while we're waiting right now for the equipment, special mention to our sponsors, Via Sport, Province of British Columbia, and the Wheelchair Rugby for British Columbia, Canada, Sheraton, Vancouver, Lots and lots of other huge sponsors as well as the Canadian government. Special thanks to coming out and supporting this as well. We talked about Vesco, Richmond Olympic Oval, Hilton, Vancouver Airport, Sheraton, Vancouver Airport, and the Marriott Vancouver Airport as well. Hollister, IBEW, and Richmond Sport Hosting. So special thanks to all the sponsors that make this so successful. You set it back up. Looks like they're locked at center court, but they're not. Another heavy hit throwing back around. Australia will pick this one back up. Bond comes back down, goes in, splits around everybody and gets across the line, tags it down and sets it. Now they'll wait again. Sweden getting set. Frederick Johnson inbounds the ball. Now he throws it back. Just give this one back all the way over on the far side. Johnson's breaking his way all the way down to the mid part of the court to see whether he could get open, but they couldn't get him free and open that time.
They're putting a lot of pressure on Thomas, number 22 here, in hopes that some turnovers will come out of his teammates. But they are trying their best to get over half here. They have obviously some new guys here for Team Sweden, and with Toby off the floor, they can put some pressure on Team Sweden here.
Well, Team Sweden's pretty much way down. They're running. They're going to get across the line. Heavy check throwing right there, and he gets across the line. More points on the boards. 25-15 right now. Sweden's trailing. We're looking second period. They call it period or a quarter for this. Somebody kept telling me, I mentioned quarter the first game, second period I said period because somebody told me it was different. So I'm undecided.
Same. I would just call it period.
I know there's a number 2 on the clock. That's all I was going by. Heavy hit on the far side. Lindbergh was on the receiving of that one. Finally gets the ball away, throws it back to the inside. Nice play, yet throws it back down. And they'll just roll across the line real easy as Johnson gets the point and goes across and puts him up to 16 on the board right there. Nice play all set up from the back end by Yet. That was Thomas Yet, number 22 for Sweden. Now they come back up again. Harrison down the left side going in as he goes across. That was Chris Bond that ran the pick and took his man out of the play right there. So Harrison could go across the line and get the points. Oh, on a steal. Well played. Bond got that one literally. Bond stole that one from Johnson that time. Bond still has it. Looks. Thinks about what he's going to do. Cuts to the left. Goes around his man. Man, oh man. That was smooth as silk going inside there. So we got 4:53 remaining, period number 2 right now. 4 periods in the game. 8-minute duration of each period. Now they go back up, going back, driving to the middle, goes around the outside right side this time, right to the line. Now they just lob it back to the inside and they'll get across, and Lindbergh goes in for the points. Specially designed chairs for all the players, some higher design, some lower, some different styles, and I would assume that they're expensive to buy too.
Yeah, some of these picking chairs, what I find interesting in this game is that we have 3 different 2-pointers with with picking front ends. Generally speaking, you usually see low pointers with picking front ends. When you see deuces with picking front ends, they usually have a varied role where that they can still manage the ball to carry the ball offensively a little bit, but they're a defensive presence.
Okay, so a player with the picking chair that you're talking about, give me a number and give me a color so we can get our cameraman to focus in and zoom in on one of them.
Sure, so Sweden number 3 is a 2. He's also got a defensive chair. We got number 7.
And he's just down here. Number 7 in front of us right here.
Lindbergh, he's also a 2.0. He's got another defensive chair. And then for Australia, he's subbed off now. But we had one of the deuces, I think.
What
it was
about
Harrison.
number 7 out in front of me, straight in front?
Number 7, so he's a 1-pointer.
Okay.
Ryan Lees, also known as Midnight Oil. He's a 1-pointer. He's got a picking chair, so, I mean, that's pretty standard.
Okay. Because there's different style front ends on the chairs. Some of them, for example, we see like number 22 for Sweden. When we're looking at Yet's chair, he's got a very close-in front end, if you want to call it close-in front end.
Or rounded. They're kind of designed so that you can hit someone without actually getting stuck or losing any of your momentum. You basically just bounce off of someone. Makes
sense. Good play going straight forward this time, and they're going to go back down, and Johnson comes in. Oh, he was tipped up right there. I'm not sure whether he took a little bit of a hit to the top part of the head right there, but he shrugged it off. The glasses didn't come off. I knew he got bumped on the head because I saw his hair flow.
Looked like Riley went for a piece of that ball, and I guess the ref saw that he got a piece of his arm.
So thus the penalty. So you can tell. That's why I referee. I watch those type of things. I picked up on that. There's an infraction there someplace. Not sure where, but somehow there is. So they will wait right now. So
another equipment here.
Equipment issue right now. They're coming back inside. I believe it's going to go right there. It will. I think the wheel is just up off of the ground, and because they held it over on the far side, so they'll take it. They just pull it out. Oh, it looks like they had to take the bolt out of this one to put the bolt right through.
I'd imagine on this ensuing inbound that Sweden is probably going to get the ball in, and they're going to try to trap Riley Batt in the box. And by that, they'll force him to inbound. And by forcing him to inbound, they're only going to have 4.5 points on the floor during that time versus Sweden's 8. And hopefully Sweden is probably going to try to put some pressure on that inbound.
Okay, yeah, so now they're going over, they're running the block.
All right, Riley will call inbounder. Should. Oh. Ooh.
He gets himself loose. Back, now he gets it again. He was blocked and all that. Now he still managed to come around and gets past everybody. And he goes down. Boy, oh boy, he doesn't quit. Another heavy hit going back down across the line inside. Nice play, but that was well set up again by Riley Batt. And you can see how explosive Batt was once he came out of the box and managed to get himself free. Batt stays with his man. They throw it straight forward this time, coming all the way up. Sweden comes down the floor this time. Back to Yet. He goes inside. Took a bit of a heavy hit and just lobs it back all the way over on the far side that time to Varned, and he gets that across the line for another one. So they're putting points on the board at least.
You see Team Sweden with two two-pointers with high picker Fernandes. I guess their strategy here is to try to get a hook on Riley Batt, who's obviously very elusive.
So Riley Batt goes back down, just crosses the line, gives it back to the referee very carefully right now. So Sweden has one man down the far end, and Australia having all 4 back.
This reminds me of a hockey play where there's a neutral zone trap. It looked like Australia was kind of hovering around center court.
They were.
Hoping to pounce on someone in a danger zone like right now. Look at that.
They were, and I hated those hockey traps.
That was so boring to watch.
So did the fan. The fans hated it. Oh, yes, that was like Snoozeville. It was terrible. Back around. Far side, they're going to go across the line.
Keep in mind Team Sweden with no timeouts here. Riley's going to chase that down.
Couldn't get it back down. Now he's going to go all the way back down, and Riley Batt will get it. So whatever the referee called, Riley called something different. Not sure what it was.
Well, it looked like the shot clock ran out, and because the ball was just tipped by Australia and they didn't actually gain team possession, the shot clock continued to run out.
Okay, so we've got substitution coming in right now. Team Sweden sending in 2 substitutions, 2 going in. Stefan Jansen, number 13, also coming in is Mikal Norlin. 2 of them going in.
Now this lineup, they've played with each other for a long time. I'm sure they know each other quite well.
Probably. You should know what each other's going to do, and they're just trying to set it up right now. Force him wide to the outside. Oh, trying to run the block right there on to take him out. That's Riley Batt still trying to get himself free. Are they going to do it? Oh, he's still going to manage to get across the line, but it was a good solid pick play to try him. Well, they forced him wide and high back to the outside. Long pass all the way down. Don't think anybody expected that one. Will he get control? But oh, yes, he's going to get control of this one. And he'll get it and go all the way straight down the court. And unfortunate for Riley Batt, he couldn't catch him on that play. He tried. I thought he was going to get him, but he bumped him.
That's just good chair position by Thomas. He knows that he has a speed mismatch with Riley Batt, but all he did was just maintain chair position on him. And all he needed to do was stay in front of him.
Stay in front of him. Yeah, you can pretty much stay in front of him, run like a pick play as well, if it works. Cuts to the outside. Nope, not yet. Just continues to get across the line. He gets that one. So we got a 12-point different game right now, 32-20. Largest score we've seen so far in the games we've had the luxury of broadcasting today.
Riley playing a 1-on-2 here, hopefully being able to create something here on his own.
Will get across the line. Oh, that was a funny play back down. So
Looks like
Australia,
Team Sweden's continuing to drop back in the key.
they're all dropping back. Oh, sweet play to go on the outside. Nice deep play right there. A bit of a head fake on him as well as he going inside.
Seems like Team Australia's key offensive play here is just a ground game. Let Riley run around and shoot through holes. But it seems to work for them. Ooh, big hit by Riley Bat here.
Huge heavy hit right there. And he was upended right there, so we'll get him fixed back up. Put the mat down. We watched one of the trainers earlier on. Don't know whether you had I think it was last game. One of the trainers come on the floor, and one of the players upside down. He just picked them up, the chair and everything, and picked them up and put them back up in place. Just like, oh, I'll get you. We were laughing over here.
Well, he's either a big guy or the guy he was lifting was just really
No,
small.
he was a big guy. He picked him right up and said, I'll get you. And he did. Cross.
Number 8, Big Mike with the goal.
Yeah, gets that one. They make it look so simple sometimes. Well, that only gets them to 22. 11 points difference right now. Australia up 33 by 33 to 22.
Did he get a timeout?
Another one, I think.
Nice heads-up play by number 14.
I thought we had him called timeout. Timeout for gold, so they have to get this one all set back up. Wheel him back over.
So the reason why number 14 called a timeout there is because if he were to land on an opposing player and actually physically touch him, since Team Australia had team possession at that moment, there would have been a turnover there because you're not allowed to touch an opposing player.
Even though you're up, upended like that?
Well, that's one of the strategies that defenders try to do is try to hit an offensive player and force the offensive player to land on the lap, commonly known as a lap dance.
Yes.
And then that results in a turnover.
Oh, I can see that. Waits, cuts back. Oh, spins around the top part, but goes around the right side, the right end there, and gets across the line. Boy, he's got more fakes than some of the CFL football players I've seen play.
He's really tough to stop, especially in the key when he's so elusive.
Well, they know exactly what they're doing. One hopper across the line, puts it back right now. Still trailing. They're fighting very valiant, but they're still fighting an uphill battle right now against a strong powerhouse Australian team.
Australia's probably going to hold and try to score at around 55, 52, depending on what their team's strategy is. He
gets it at 57. Is that a little bit too early?
Well, Team Sweden will try to score a quick one without taking undue risk. Like, you don't want to bomb it deep without anyone touching it. But you would like to score a quick goal if you can, if possible.
Good pick, cuts back again to the middle. Now they go back down again, trying to get him. Oh, frustration shown by Riley Bat.
Yelling really loud. He wants a quick goal. That's why he's yelling.
And he gets it too. That's what they wanted, so they were trying for that one.
So if they scored a little quicker, that way Australia couldn't exactly run the clock all the way down, which then would leave Team Sweden a bit of time to run back down and score last goal. Now you'll see Team Australia hold for last goal.
They just run the clock off?
Yeah, there's only 2-second differential on the shot clock and the game clock. So you'll see them most likely run it all the way down. Ooh.
Big bump, big hit, almost upended him right there.
You see number 14 and number 7 for Australia tying up Big Mike. Ooh, penalty.
Seven Blues getting the penalty for Sweden. And number 7, Roger Lindberg. So he goes over it now, 12.9 or 13 virtually seconds. They inbound the ball, the clock's on, it's running, it's going, they have control of it. Riley Bat goes down the left side, didn't go across the line, not yet. Eventually, now he'll go across the line with 2 seconds left. It's funny, they always take a look as they're going down. You can always tell he goes across the line after he looks at the clock first, very patiently, trying to get control. Almost stolen right there. Riley Bat had a good chance to steal that one, just couldn't get it at the last minute.
Yeah, anytime the defensive team tries to does take a penalty in the last goal situation when the offensive team is holding for last goal, and they take a penalty, they're essentially handing the offensive team last goal. That's why it's a fine line between trying to pressure the team with possession or the team with the ball and then potentially taking a penalty like this is exactly what happened.
Well, that's what happened in that case, eh? So there's 5-minute break between the two periods right now. And they'll get ready to start the third one. But so far, your thoughts on the game?
Well, I think both teams are trying to get their bench some experience. Seems like they're trying to do a bit of tournament management by the coaches. But at the same time, they want to get all their experience, or they want to get their players some experience at an international tournament like this.
That makes sense. You know, if you've got the players here, give them experience, and experience is the best virtue you got.
Right. I mean, nobody ever wants to feel like they're giving up the game right at the beginning. Everyone wants to kind of at least give it a good go for at least 1 or 2 quarters, just to at least let yourself know that you can run with some of the top teams. But at the same time, you got to be realistic. You got to play your bench, and you got to get you guys some experience.
Well, you have to, because you never know when you're going to need them down the road. One day you're going to need them, and if you haven't played them and used them, then you're going, wait a minute, now I'm finding myself in trouble.
Right, that wouldn't make sense to play your best lineup the whole game, every game. I mean, you're just going to run them into the ground, and you're not going to develop any players for the future.
No, and you've got to develop players for the future. And you talk about future. The next game is actually going to be between Canada and Japan. So I'm curious to see how many fans we get out both to support Canada as well as Japan.
Well, Team Canada always seems to get a decent turnout here. Obviously, we're all here on home soil.
So we just keep our fingers crossed that we have a good turnout from everybody.
I saw that there's busloads of kids earlier in the day. I missed that.
Yeah, I was told that was a school that came in this morning to take the game in, and one of the local elementary schools in Richmond. And they came in to take the Team Canada game in. I guess and give the kids a little bit more exposure to the sport and what it's all about. And they were here naturally as well, cheering on Team Canada.
How was that environment? Were they loud?
I was told it was loud. I was out at another venture. I had to go to a boatyard this morning, so it was on the way out here, just off Westminster Highway, up by it's by the motorcycle shop, just off the old Westminster Highway, up by the Alex Fraser Bridge. So I was up there for a while, a little bit of business I had, transactions I had to deal with. Then I came down here, and all I know is when I was coming inside the park, it was tough to get inside because all the kids were in front of the car.
Well, in years past, when they brought busloads of kids to this event, it just got cuckoo bananas in here. The kids were... it almost appeared like they fed the kids a bunch of sugar on the bus, and then they just let them run wild here.
That's the teacher's ploy. So have fun.
And it was a great environment. I mean, the kids are obviously very enthusiastic about wheelchair rugby, and then add a close game, a close competitive game to that environment, and it's quite the environment to play a international game in.
That was probably the teacher's recess period where she said, "The staff will look after you. I'm taking a time out. Have fun, boys and girls."
Yeah,
and
meanwhile, the teachers are in the beer garden.
Yeah, well, wishful thinking for their part. But speaking of beer garden, speaking of the teachers, school's almost out around the area. So just a friendly reminder that school being out for the summer in the next little while, wherever your travels take you, please remember, slow down and drive with caution. We want everybody to be a good sport and not what I call a sporting statistic. So slow down, drive with extreme care and caution. And do me a favor, if nothing else, put your stupid cell phone away. And if you're going to talk on it, pull over. It's too expensive, and I've actually seen the police walking around up and down different streets with some of their people that work with them, and they look like they're a bunch of tourists on the road, on the side of the road, taking pictures, and they're actually videoing you when you're driving down.
Exactly. No, they radio up ahead to their colleagues on who's using their phone and at the intersection, and then they pull you over a couple blocks down.
Well, I just think if it's that important, you have to phone somebody, pull your car over and talk to somebody, and you don't need it anyway. If it's that important, figure out how to work it, but not when you're driving a car. So we're going to wait. Australia's going to get the ball. They'll reset the clock right now. It's set. 8 minutes. Period number 3 about to get started. And we'll get the ball. It's going to be inbound over the far side by Australia.
Bat and Bond duo back in
Very
again.
much. Riley Bat inside. Now he goes back down. Splits it, going inside. Actually had a young boy up here playing in the Mackenzie Golf Tournament a couple weeks back out at Point Grey from Australia. He was telling me about the funding issues with the government and how they get their funding and all that. And And I applaud Australia. They worked it out because with him playing golf, it's interesting that he was a young boy, 19. He's homesick, so they flew his mother up to be with him. I was quite impressed with that.
Nice.
Ooh, there was a heavy collision all the way back down. Now they're going to go after this one. Will they get control? Yes, they will. Oh, and they felt that one. That's going to jaw his back teeth. Now they come inside, running the pick right there. They're going to call it up and over, and he falls down.
Wow. I think Riley just pulled Alfredo right with his chair while he's holding the ball right out of his chair.
I think he did, and of course I watched, and Sandberg went over and had a couple of illustrious words of wisdom to him as well, and basically just give him that elusive stare down and basically told him to smarten up. So there was no real love loss in that play right there. And I'm seeing the coaching staff down here for Sweden talking to him.
Looks like Alfredo's all right, number 23.
I think so, yeah. The coach was having a one-on-one conversation right there all the way out in front. Told him virtually there's no need for that.
When you see Team Sweden running an offensive key play here, it seems like they run a set play as opposed to Australia, who allows Riley to kind of run back and forth and look for his openings. Team Sweden looks like they have a systematic play that they run.
And they do. And there was one of the systematic plays right there. They ran and got it all the way back inside. Now they have a long stretch bomb pass all the way up.
We've all seen that before.
Seen that picture before. Now they go back down, easily play across the line. They tag it down. 13 points difference. Huge, huge score difference in the game right now.
One of the strategies that Team Australia employs here is just trying to press 2-on-4 with Bat and Bond. And they basically have their .5s hovering around center court, putting people in danger zones. There you see Bat and Bond just creating so much pressure, just 2 against 4 initially.
Yeah, and that's tough to defend against when you got pressure like that. So Sweden will wait for this one.
There's another turnover.
Big turnover too. They wait. Good spinorama move right there by Sandberg. Comes all the way back down the right side, gets past everybody. Well, almost past everybody with the exception of Bat over on the left side. Sandberg throws it back inside. Good play to give it back over to Norland. Norland goes down. Norland still in control of the ball. Back over, and Bond's trying to stay with him this time. Bond and Norland, 2 of them collided. Norland had it. Called by the referee. What did they call him for?
Well, it looked like Riley got a piece of Mike's arm as he was going for the ball. Again, you're not allowed to touch an opposing player. You are allowed to swipe for the ball or go for a jump ball, but if you contact an opposing player, they're going to call a penalty.
And they did. So they'll wait. So he's sitting over on the far side in the chair waiting beside what is supposed to be the penalty box area. So they get across the line, they'll put it back, and now he'll come back on the floor and get himself back involved in the play once again. So Riley Bats back on the floor. He's at center floor being double teamed. Now gets loose and gets away from everybody. Manages somehow to get control of the ball. Now he goes back around. Gets it past, a long stretch pass, a one hopper all the way back down the floor across the line. They put another couple points and one more on the board right there. Making it look simple so far, the way they're playing it. And you can tell that they've obviously been working at their passing plays because they set that up pretty significant.
Yeah, given the matchups that Sweden can present for Team Australia here, looks like Riley Beck can beat a double team at will here.
And he give that one away on the pass out,
which presents a huge problem for Team Sweden. How do they stop Riley Beck from getting the ball with just 2 people?
Well, that's the key.
And once they throw in that third person, then that opens up something else for them.
One hopper. Couldn't get control. Nope. Turning, trying to get control of it a second time right there. Waiting for him. So they give the ball back this time to Sweden. Sweden will take their time with it. Bit of a collision course all the way back all center floor right now. Now they wait and they turn and they get back the other way. Sandberg comes up. Sandberg turns back in his own half of the court this time. Waits, looks, gets away and gets around his man.
So Riley back.
Now they go all the way back down.
As long as Sweden is actively trying to score, they can't call a stoppage in play until he turns back.
I think we've got an equipment problem right now. We do. We've got a wheel problem right now with the chair for Riley Bat. He was pushing his tire and trying to get it to spin right there, and all it was doing was spinning. It wasn't going anywhere.
Team Australia with the bench. They're looking to get some subs in here.
Yeah, I think this is a coach timeout for Team Australia, and subs coming in as well.
Yeah, so you can't sub after a goal, but you can call a bench.
And then you can have a substitution?
Sub yes. Unfortunately, you can't sub like in hockey subs.
Well, that makes sense. Long pass out to mid-floor. Will he get this one? Sure he will. He'll go back down. Nice play to get control. This one will go inside. Edmondson across the line, puts him back up again. 18-point difference right now on the board. That's pretty huge. Waits runs the block, taken off of this one. Now they come all the way back up. Waits, one hopper. Are they going to get control of it? No, taken off it. Couldn't get past anybody in that play right there, but they tried. Solid effort. And the one that was trying to get it free was Mikhail Norlin. Norlin was chasing the ball down, just literally taking off it. I think we've got a substitution coming in right now. A couple of players coming in on the sub. Substitution coming inside right now. I have 4 players coming in to sub. So 4 for 4. Sounds strange, but we haven't seen a 4 for 4 sub yet today out here. Normally 3, never 4.
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't say it's rare, but sometimes you want to leave a couple players on who have already been warmed up a bit and they're in sync with the flow of the game. And
right.
Then you throw in a couple new players and just to kind of give a breather for some of your teammates there.
Well, it's working for them.
Sometimes when you sub all 4, it takes a couple minutes for people to get in sync and get warmed up.
Yeah, that's true. So they'll sort it all out. And they will just easily take their time. No rush at all.
So you see Team Australia's play again. You'll see Bond try to ground game it this time instead of Riley. We'll see how this plays out.
And Bond has it. Throws it back inside. They just take it across. That was Edmondson that got it that time from Bond. Bond passed it back over to him.
Thomas has got long range.
Long pass. Who's going to get control of this one? Waiting for it. Nice play to pick this one all the way back up. That's Lindbergh. Lindbergh throws it back all the way over across the line. Couldn't get control of this one. A little bit out of his reach on a play like there for the pass.
Yeah, it seems like that was somewhat created by number 14 who was pressuring Thomas as he made that pass. Sometimes if you're making a pass, as soon as someone's hitting you, it kind of takes a little bit off your pass. And then sometimes those passes come up short.
Yeah, they can. And you can see that happening too. Another play across the line. So now we have managed and reached 20 points difference. And the score, 47-27. Good spin move right there, back in front. Now they'll maintain possession. Thomas Yet has it.
What's going on?
Looks.
Equipment? Yeah.
What do we have, an equipment issue again or no? No, I think they're just trying to.
Team Australia seems to employ the strategy where they appear to go back in the key and then it's like they pounce. They pounce on you right at center. Again, back to the neutral zone trap analogy there.
Yeah.
But if teams aren't ready for it, they can catch you off guard and it can be effective.
Well, you've got to be aware of what's going on and how it's going to unfold.
Again, watch the set play by Team Sweden.
The one that's wide open behind everybody is Janssen. Johnson going inside. Does he get it? I think he eventually got it. Did they have 4 in the key in a play like there?
So they awarded a penalty goal because they figured the player with the ball was in a scoring position.
Well, it looked like he was from our vantage point. So
Drag race here.
Yeah. slowing down, putting the brakes on, maintaining it. Now is he going to throw it forward? Not yet.
Yeah, if you don't
Takes
need
it.
a pass and ground, if you can ground game it. I mean, why force an extra pass? if you
Yeah,
don't have
sure.
to?
First off, you pass it like that, and the person you're going to pass it to might not be aware of the pass.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Talking about catching him off guard. That's a bit of a surprise. So they go back. Sweden coming down, throws it back to the middle. Does he get across the line? He does. Gets across the line. He gets one more on the board for them. 48 to 29 in favor of Australia. And Australia come back around. Andrew Edmondson gets up. He comes back, throws it straight forward. As they just march their way in once again and keep maintaining that 20-point difference.
Even though it might appear that Team Australia is starting to run away with this game, you can see it. Team Sweden still putting up a fight.
Well, they haven't quit. As you made mention, they just continue to press and keep on rolling forward right now. So the last highlight of success for Team Australia was in 2016 at the Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro. And the one before that was the Canada Cup here in Richmond in 2015.
There was a great game in the gold medal match in Rio where Team Australia won in overtime. One of the more exciting gold medal matches that I've seen.
Equipment issue just over to the left right there, so they get it. They'll inbound the ball, getting it back again. And they come back up mid-floor this time, take their time. They never seem to be in a hurry, but at the last minute, they somehow managed to pick up some valuable speed. They get across. Give it back this time again. This is Johnson that has it. Johnson lobs it straight forward. Good play to get it back out to Lindbergh. Lindbergh working, coming straight down. Looks, picks up some speed, stops, throws it back to the far right side, lobbing it back over on the far side to Johnson.
Oh.
Johnson has it. Does he maintain it? Yes, he does. He still holds on to it. Waits. Everybody's all over him fighting for the ball. They're all trying to get control of it. They steal it, and they get control of it right now. What's the ref going to call in a play like this one?
Well, it looked like number 14 for Australia got his hands on the ball, and once he got possession, then it looked like Team Sweden was trying to hack away at him to get that ball back. Sometimes when you give up a turnover, you can't help but want to fight and get that ball back. But sometimes you have to resist that temptation because you have to just play solid rugby and hopefully get it back on another possession. But got a man down.
We do. We have a man down right there. He's down. Nobody's blowing the whistle. Now they blow the whistle. It's interesting that they wait to see what the players, what the players do. And who is that? Is that Michael Ozane?
Yeah, poor, the number 6 for Australia here looked like face down on the court.
Well, he hasn't moved since he rolled over.
Laying
That's the
motionless.
thing. Yeah, that's the thing that I worry about is, he hasn't moved. And I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination. I can't even put on a Band-Aid straight. But my heavens, you would think if, they fall down, they're not moving, you'd think you'd stop the play.
Well, especially if the guy's laying face down on his face, you would like to think that someone would roll him over like a turtle. And but hey, he looks okay.
He does now.
Might have to fix his feet a bit of a yard sale, but he looks like he's going to be okay.
Put him back in proper position right there.
So they only give a minute for these, I guess it's equipment timeout. Brad Doherty looking to potentially maybe take a bench or sub if they need to. They're kind of watching.
I think they're going to have a sub.
Yeah, looks like it. Ryan Scott coming in.
Yeah. So he'll be going out. And as you mentioned, Ryan Scott's going to be the one that's coming in right now. And they're coming all the way up. Couldn't pick up any speed. No traction, no grip on the floor with the tire on a play like that, so he couldn't get it.
Thomas looking to bomb it.
He did. He gets it. Oh, it's heavy hit there. Right in front of our broadcast location. Now it's back down the far side. Bond was the one that took his man off the ball, and that was Johnson that got hammered. So now they wait for it. They're twisting and turning. Pretty significant on the far side once again. Heavy check throwing right in the mid part of the floor right there, but they still have it. Across the line, they get the point. 32 difference in the score right now, 52-30. Pretty significant, and I guess it's pretty much all over but the crying. I guess that's a good way to put it right now, is it?
Well, a lot of times in these tough situations for the team who's down, you got to look for the small wins. You want to stick to the process. You want to play properly. You want to play good, smart, fundamental rugby. Once you start getting out of those habits, then I would deem that as an unsuccessful game. But you can still have a successful game in a losing game. You can still learn stuff. You can still get your players experience.
Well, that's the key right there, is to get experience for some of your up-and-coming players. Have you ever seen a game with the wheelchair rugby against what some call able-bodied people to see how it goes? Because I've tried sledge hockey and damn near killed myself.
Oh, I'm sure you were sore for like a week.
I was sore for more than a week. Didn't get any sympathy from my wife, but I was sore.
You know, sometimes we have able-bodies either at rehab centers that want to try the sport, or we have a friend or someone's family member who comes to practice and wants to try. But generally speaking, they have a rough time propelling a wheelchair despite all their function.
Yeah.
There is a bit of an art to moving a wheelchair at speed.
Well, never mind just moving the chair. You're trying to get, make the ball and make the passes at the same time too.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it might seem.
No, it's not. It is not indeed. So the wait, they give this one back out. Johnson has it for Team Sweden. Frederick Johnson comes all the way back. To all our friends that are listening and watching in from around the world, wherever you're listening in from or watching from, hope you're enjoying the game coming from Richmond Olympic Oval in Richmond, BC. Back in again. Long pass. Will he get it? I don't think he expected it, but he got it cut to the inside anyway. And will he get it?
Look like Australia holding to clock manage.
They will. They want to manage the clock. They did that. We saw them do that in the second period as well. So they turn. They don't know how much time is left. He takes a look, gander at the clock, sets it back up, cuts to the right side, going inside around his own man on the left side. Now he looks at the clock and cuts across the line. So he gets another one. 55.6 seconds left in period 3.
It's a pretty good time between 55, 52. Every team does it a little different, but Team Sweden wants a quick score here.
And he gets it just like that.
See, since there's this 8-second differential on the clock, even if Team Australia holds for last goal here, they're still going to have 8 or 9 seconds to run back again. Or Team Sweden is going to have 8 or 9 seconds to. Anytime penalties under a minute and a half or so, those are really tough penalty to swallow, because once Australia gets the ball in, they got last goal. This is basically handing over last goal whenever you take a penalty in that moment.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
So if you are going to go for a penalty, or are you going to go for a reach or a jump ball, you got to make it count. You knowing that the risks involved are basically handing over last goal. And we've seen how the importance of last goal has played out in this tournament so far.
Yeah. They just take their time. They're not in a rush right now. This is Chris Bond that has it.
They're just going to take their time, run it all the way down to probably 1 second.
He will look. They're going to count it down, too.
And Australia knows they can't take a penalty here and risk potentially a penalty goal, so he'll just camp on the baseline. Yeah. That's
all he had to do. Camp there for a while and then just slowly went across.
Team Sweden probably just going to get the ball in.
As long as they don't give it away, they'll just run the clock out right now. That's all they're going to do, and they run the clock out. So after 3 periods, we've got a 57-32 score. 25 difference in the score right now, and Team Australia in a commanding lead so far in the game.
We'll see what Team Australia starts the beginning of the fourth with, whether Brad's going to switch up his lines, get some of his news guys a little more experience. Appears Benoit is going to be doing the same.
Well, that can't hurt them. You know, I mean, experience is one of the best virtues you got. If you've got players that you haven't really utilized a lot, throw them in. See what they can do and see how they're going to perform for you.
Yeah, no, it's a good test. I mean, not just for the athlete, but for the coaching staff to read how their player is going to respond.
Well, that's the key right there. I mean, if you've got to, as a coach, I would assume that you should have a lot of confidence in the players. And my logic is if you don't have a confidence in players, why are they there? Or why are you there?
Well, I mean, truth is, you know, all players are in different stages of their development throughout their career. So an inexperienced player who's only 1 or 2 years in on a national team might not have the same composure as someone who's been on for 5 or 6 years. So in order to be comfortable being uncomfortable, you have to expose them to these sort of situations. You got to expose them to Riley Bat hammering them at full speed. You got to, you know, Bond maybe pressuring him and getting a flip off him. It's those experiences that make any athlete an experienced veteran.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. And of course, you can imagine an older player playing this game going out and hammering one of the younger players with a real heavy hit. It scared the daylights out of them.
Well, there's definitely some big hitters in this game.
So they will wait. Fourth quarter getting ready.
Ref taking a seat on Nicholson here. Not sure what that call was.
Yeah, I didn't see a call. Didn't hear an announcement either. Thought we might have an announcement as to what the penalties are for, but we haven't yet. So they wait. They come back down regardless. Nicholson's deep, takes his man off of the play. Now they go across, getting across the line. Puts them up 58 right now. Long pass back up to mid-floor. Now they go after this one again. Yet comes down, stops, turn, gets around his man, holding on it. Still he has possession of the ball. Now he throws it back, cuts to the middle. Bit of a fake move right there on the outside. That was taken by Sandberg. Wait, Sandberg's being worked off of the ball by Bond. Bond stays with him. Sandberg throws it back, lobs it across the line, waits for his own man and gets it back now. Nice play by Sandberg to get the ball actually loose and free in that time because Bond couldn't reach up to get it, but just out of his reach.
We'll see what sort of range number 2 Nicholson has, or 2-pointer Nicholson, I mean. He's got decent range. As you can see, Nicholson, number 21, appears to be a quad amp. And being a quad amp, he still has decent range on his passes, and he's obviously a menace defensively.
Well, we've seen him be physical earlier on so far in the game, too. Never say never, right?
Toby and Bond battling here.
Heavy battle, too, and it goes all the way back down. They're going to get it.
Oh.
Couldn't get control of this one. That's twice we've seen that happen with Sweden, where they've misplayed the ball going across the line.
That was a tough one. Those ones are tough ones to swallow. I would consider that unforced turnover.
I think we've got an issue with jacket or something.
Like another
equipment issue on the back. They're going to take their time and check them out nonetheless, so they'll make sure they know what's going on and how it's going to sort itself out. Obviously fixed. He's back. He's in action, and the play is going to be carrying right on. Alvarez was the one that would. Alvarez was blocked on that time. Now we go back. They hold on to the ball again. This is Edmondson, and Edmondson throws it back over on the right side. This time to Bond, and Bond slowly cruises up and passes it back to the referee. Referee will give him the ball back. And they'll get it again. This time Sweden. Back up over half floor, turning. Referee side steps one move. Now they go back the other way. Sandberg still dangling back to the center. What's he going to do? Still holding on to the ball. Now he bounces at a one hopper.
Well, he's got to get around Nicholson here.
Trying to see who's free. He's trying.
Looked like he's trying to teardrop it into Thomas on the far side there. Oh.
So they're resetting the blocks at the end there.
Not sure what the call was, sir.
That makes two of us. So they're going to inbound the ball nonetheless. They give it back this time. Nice play to get it back around this time. Edmondson for Australia. Looks, gets through traffic. Edmondson comes all the way back up. Half floor this time as he goes back down. Bond is with him. Edmondson slowly goes across the line, gets a couple on the board. That's the one thing we've noticed is that Edmondson, as well as Bond, they're sort of filling in right now on the heavy places for Riley Batt, who they seem to be resting a little bit too.
Yeah, we most likely won't even see Riley back in the fourth quarter here. I don't see any reason why they need to play him again when they can just rest him for upcoming games.
Well, you've got a huge, huge difference in the score right now. I mean, it's 61-34, so why would you put him out there and, you know, take the chance you might get a possible injury or heaven knows what?
All right, that's all part of tournament management.
That is. That's why the coaches pay lots of income tax.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
That's exactly right. That's why you and I are here. We're not coaching. So they'll wait. They'll just give him the ball once again. And this is Nicholson has it. Nicholson throws it back inside. Nice play right there to Edmondson. Timeout called.
Australia still has 3 timeouts to burn, so 3 timeouts, 3 bailouts.
So I think there's something they just wanted to sort out and get rectified and straightened out with the coaching staff. He saw something he wasn't really fond of, the way it was working out. So he's out there having a one-on-one conversation with the players.
A lot of these player timeouts, people are using these timeouts as bailouts. So every now and then, people will just stay on the court and they'll play through the timeout. And then once in a while, they'll bring it in like they are right now to kind of talk about it and strategize what they're going to do on the ensuing inbound.
Well, if it works, why not? So they'll get set. They do. They inbound the ball all the way back around, this time once again to Bond. Bond has it. Bond's trying to set it back up. Just throws it back inside this time, and they get across. Nice play, and get it back inside to Edmondson, who goes across the line for another point. Now they just wait all the way back out. Oh, nice play to grab this one back around by Nicholson. Showed a huge amount of speed to grab this one. Nicholson's in the middle part of the floor, and they'll wait and give this one back around to Bond. I don't think Sweden expected to come out this much shy on the board so far for the score. I'm expecting a substitution coming in from, I think it's Australia in the next while. I saw the coaching staff walk over to the scorer's table.
Yeah, they might take a bench eventually.
We'll see. Now they give a long hopper all the way back down. Will they get it? Goes across the line and gets another one on the board, 35.
Number 9, Conrad, redeeming himself for that missed pass earlier.
So 28-point difference on the board right now. Yeah, Conrad wanted to get that one. He missed the previous one, so we wanted to make sure he had that one. No mistake in that one at all. Ball's back inside, waiting. Instructions being barked out back in the Australian end by Chris Bond to a couple of the other players, his teammates right there. Tell them where they should go or what you should be doing. Far side, will they go across the line? Yep, they will that time. They just get across the line, drop it back down. Counting him off.
Oh,
heavy hit right there. Solid collection right there. And as you were saying, just looks up at the roof on the ceiling right there, and they'll get him picked back up. Put the mat down. I think we're going to have a substitution coming in as well. So they'll just grab him, pick him back up. So 3 substitutions coming in for Australia right now.
Well, do you know, Riley Batt is back in the game, but he is with some new Australian players that haven't seen some court time.
Yeah, the only player that stayed on the court that time was Andrew Edmondson, the one that was upended. He was the only one that stayed in. The rest of them went off. (37) 28 points different on the board right now. So they'll wait, just easily inbound the ball once again. That was Jason Lee's that committed. I think that's Jason's probably first shift of the game so far. I haven't seen him before.
Looked like Thomas got his hand on the ball there, but then it was checked out.
So they're going to give the ball back over on the far side this time, and this will be Edmondson that will be given the ball by the referee. Passes it back to him. Now he just throws it back in his own half of the floor this time. Grab, picked back up. Nice play by Riley Badders. He comes all the way back down, picks up some speed. One hopper going inside, rolls across the line, and gets some more points on the boards right there. Leaving it back. Who's wide open? They've got one all the way down the far end of the floor right now. I don't think they saw him to give him the ball. They're trying to. Now they just lob it straight forward. Good play to get control. Now they saw him to get it all the way back down and couldn't get control. That's the third time we've seen a miss for Team Sweden so far in the game, and they were wide open right by the line.
Well, Team Sweden tends to send one guy deep all the time, and those usually are gimme catches for most of their players, and they're usually good, but that's one of the dangers of having a low point deep and throwing a full court pass is that sometimes they get bobbled.
They do. Nice play to get it back and control that one. Throw it back to the inside, waiting for it. What are they going to do? Roll across the line. Not yet, he didn't. He's going to patiently take his time there. And he will come in as he gets a couple of players towards him. He just rolls across the line and stops it, so gives it back around again. A couple players over to our left out here watching things. Now they get it back as they give it back over to Sandberg. Sandberg dumps it straight forward. Back up the middle part of the floor, back inside. Hildebrand has it.
Nice composure by the one-pointer.
Yeah,
Great
one-pointer
play.
right there across it, getting it back inside. Well played. Sweden liked that one. The whole bench was pretty much erupting on that one. They were happy.
I love sexy plays by low pointers. I think that a lot of those plays go unnoticed, unfortunately, but
pretty much.
You know, a lot of these low pointers, they're the guys in the trenches doing all the grunt work, and it's a bit of a thankless job. You know, a lot of these times they're picking and making sick plays, and the high pointers get all the glory.
Yeah, it is. It's all the glory boys who get all the big paychecks.
Yeah, so whenever I see low pointers make sick plays or what I view as sick plays, then I always sure to let them know that I appreciate their effort.
So you should. That's good. That takes a huge part. Nice play to cut it back. Waits, looks going after it. Does he get it across the line? Only got one on the board anyway. Slow. 29-point difference between the clock right now. 68-39.
Riley with the bailout. Oh.
Just slowly comes back down. Guides himself across the line, and that's exactly what he wanted to do right there. So he'll go across it. Never got control. Now it goes out to the mid part of the floor. Are they going to take their time? A one hopper. Will he get this one? Oh, this time he put crazy glue in his hands and got control, but maintained it. So that worked in his favor right there. Equipment issue on the floor right now, all the way out mid-court. Looks, he'll just put it in himself. He says, I know how to do it. I just lift my own chair and put it back in all by myself. I don't need you. Just bring me the wheel.
I'm not sure what the average score is for this tournament, but 69 with 2:45 left is pretty high.
This has been, I don't know if we've had a high one like that before. None today, I can tell you that right now. None right up the
At the 70
start.
mark? Well, it looks like we're going to crack the 70 mark.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Ooh, heavy collision back all the way out.
Nice.
Across the line, they'll go back down again. 2:31 remaining right now. Fourth period or fourth quarter, whatever you want to call it for your own terminology.
Looks
They got
like
it.
Team Sweden ball, right?
I think that's what they're looking at. I think we have do we have an issue at the front of it or not? I think he's okay.
Sure.
No, referee said we're happy. I'm happy. I'm contented like a cow, so go ahead. Keep on going. Now they're going to try and free him and get him wide open. They do. They maintain possession, and Sandberg has it for Sweden. He comes back up, coming over towards us, and there's a heavy hit right there. Give it to him. How's your nerves? That's enough to get the hair up in your back of your neck right there. Big solid hit like that one. So back up again. They will wait, just inbound the ball right directly in front of our broadcast location. Looks, throws it inside. Nice little bit of a play right there. Thought about giving it back. Never give it back to him that time, but instead Sandberg maintains possession. Sandberg looks back all the way over on the far side. Sandberg still in control of it this time. Hildebrandt's open. Couldn't get it to Hildebrandt that time, and Sandberg had it and just unable to pass it to anybody. I think they're trying to fix the wheel. Bit of a wheel issue on the far side, so that I think that's off of Sandberg's chair.
Yeah.
So they get another one?
We'll see. I'm not sure.
Probably they do. They found another wheel. So they go back around. They'll put it back on. So we've got 2:13 remaining right now in the game. I think we're going to have a coach's timeout. Maybe? Coach's timeout. He looks and says, can I have a timeout, referee? Yeah, okay, fine.
I wasn't sure if he was asking for a timeout or if that was a question.
Does he want a timeout? Maybe.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, why not? Why not?
Well, he's got it. So now he's going to talk, and this is pretty much just, don't think it's really an instructional timeout just to give them any instructions as to what they should do. I think this is more just like a rest period right now. This is like a recess for the players.
You know what? Sometimes timeouts are strictly just breathers. There's no tactics. There's just a bit of water, maybe some spray for some people who need to cool down, and then right back at it. Yeah,
just throw them and let them go right back at her, and they'll be fine. No mistake in that one at all.
Sometimes you got to walk the line of too much information during timeouts and then not enough information, or tactical information anyways. You don't want players to be bogged down with too much information, and you don't want them to be thinking out there. You want them just to be reacting and making reads on their instinct rather than thinking about a million different plays.
No, and they're like sponges. They can only soak up so much. That's the bottom line right there. So they're going to wait. Calling it, throwing it back in. That's the one they tried right there. A little bit of an alley-oop play all the way back over. Getting it back again. Turning, twisting again, as they usually do. Going all the way back around. This time it's on the right side of the court, going back up. Trying to get control, lobbing it back to the middle, a one-hopper, and they'll just slowly coast across the line and get another point on the board right there. So still 29 difference. We haven't reached 30 difference yet in the score.
Well, we did correct the 70.
Well, we did. That's what you alluded to earlier on. So we got 70 right now. Now they give it a long bit of a one-hopper. Oh, a nice little bit of a pad right there. Now they'll go back and see if they get control of it. Couldn't get control of that one again. A little bit of a pass. He was in a hurry-up mode. He was going a little bit faster than what the wheels on the chair wanted to take him. So 70-41 still right now. Just under 2 minutes left, fourth quarter. So who's going to get it? Referee says nobody wants it.
Ref.
Come on over. Referee says, come on, you're cutting into my coffee time. Let's go.
There we go.
Back out, mid-floor. Are they going to get control? Yes, they do. They managed to get control of this one. That was Yet that gets it for Sweden. Yet has it, sets it back up, throws it. Yet gets banged off of the ball. A heavy hit by Bat, who took him literally off of the play. Bat goes down, throws another one. Bat's throwing his weight around out there on the floor right now. Goes back after him, takes it again, trying to get control of the ball. Never mind just using the chair. He was trying to pull it back with his hands on a play like they're a very aggressive player.
Looked like four in the key. Yeah, but I mean, Riley probably made 3 or 4 plays at the ball all the way down the court. That's the testament to his hustle there.
Very much. So he's over, far side. Actually having a discussion with some of the fans sitting behind him, talking to them. Or they were talking to him, and then he said something, and they all smiled. So I guess they all agreed to disagree, whatever took place and whatever transpired. So they wait for this one. Now they're going to go back. You notice that we're going to see Hildebrandt go all the way back out to the mid part of the floor right there, and he's going to stay right in front of Bat. And also coming in to help out on the far side will be Edmondson for Australia.
See, this would be an opportunity for Sweden to practice something. So they know that Riley's in the box. They're probably going to force him to inbound by trapping. And once he inbounds, they want to try to deny, and that's a good way to practice because they're going to be able to use the strategy on any other team when they ever have the number one in the box.
Very much. So now he goes across. Now he'll come back out. Now he gets back out all by himself. So now he's free. So now do we have a timeout, or what have we got? I think coach's timeout.
Brad Dubley's experienced coach. He calls a timeout in order to bail Riley out of that.
So this is the trap. Yeah, this is the timeout called by Team Australia, just to our broadcast right, sitting over here. When you're up by that much, you shouldn't be allowed a timeout, especially in the last minute of the game. Just get it over with. So now we're going to go. Referee says, "Come on, let's go. Hustle up." So they'll give it to him and inbound the ball right there.
Team Australia does have 2 timeouts, so they might very well likely just hold for last goal and run it out.
Just run it out. You don't really need them. You don't really have to utilize them if you don't, why waste them, right? Will they get it? Sure. He'll go all the way back over on the far side. Bat has control this time. Takes his time holding on to this one.
Team Sweden should be just trying to get the ball out of Riley's hands, even if it takes all 4. Just force a pass. Team Australia's role, number 4 and number 7, are to try to tie up number 6, Toby.
I think that's what they're trying to do right now. They'll just give it and kill it time right there, so they give it back around. Timeout again. Why would they call a timeout with 14 seconds left?
Shot clock was going to run down. So it seems a very common strategy nowadays to run down the shot clock, take a timeout, and then
just kill seconds off of the clock. That's all you've got to do.
Well, you know what, it might look like Australia is putting salt in the wound, but the truth is they need it's fair for them to try and get repetitions on trying to score a last goal.
No, and that's true, and that's what they want to do. I mean, just keep themselves. It's great for the momentum going inside. Will he get across the line? Yes, he does with 3.5 seconds left. Now they'll get it, inbound the ball, and you're going to watch Team Sweden just take their time. Throw it straight forward. He'll get possession. The clock will start right about now, and now we're down to the last couple of seconds in this game. Final score, 70-42. Interesting, well-played game. Final thoughts on your game, Ian?
Well, I think both sides showed some tremendous hustle. I mean, I think later on in the game, unfortunately, the Australians started running away with it, which made it a little less competitive. But nevertheless, it was still a good game.
Indeed it was. Well, on behalf of Ian Chan, I'm Steve Erickson. Hope you enjoyed the game. Final score, 71-42. Thanks for watching. We'll be back for the next game as Canada plays Japan right after our official timeout.